This is day 5 of 365 days of Jung. My name is Mark Dyke. Okay, so today's topic is rejection and acceptance. Obviously, when we are rejected, it feels very bad. When we're accepted, it feels pretty good. Problem with that is it's all out there. In other words, we're pretty much at effect. So we want to work with this symbolically, okay? Pretty much everything in Jungian psychology is symbolic work. So let me define that a little bit. We all know the literal concrete world. I'm sitting in a chair, you can hear my voice. We walk on the earth. We smell things, we taste things. We have the sensation of pain in my foot. Anyhow, so you get that. It's all the senses. It's the concrete, literal, physical world. Now, that's all very real. Clearly very real. The symbolic world is a world of imagination. And the world of the imagination is equally real. I say equally because one of the major characters in the world of imagination is the I, the ego, our image, who we think we are. So this image that's been imaged over time since we were born, perhaps before in the sense of bringing on some of the characteristics of our ancestors, this image of who we are, this I, this ego, is all in the symbolic world. And from a Jungian perspective, our problem is we have a one-sided, limited ego, a limited I. Okay, so what I'm saying is there's two main aspects of reality. There's the literal, which we all understand. There's the symbolic, which we tend to think is not legitimate. But if we understand that our identity has been imaged, it's a part of the imagination, now maybe that brings it home a little bit more. And I think we could also include how the image of I, who I think I am, is also embodied. And so my identity is in my body. I feel it. And if you were to ask me to wear a cowboy hat, I would feel uncomfortable. It's not a part, I would feel it. My body would say, no, this isn't me. You know? And so it's a body thing. And so that the image of who we think we are is embodied. Now, another way to think of this is with the image. And so one image I have of my own ego is this boat. And it's floating in the ocean. And it's got a sail. And it's nice and wood. It's got nice wood, trim, maybe mahogany, I don't know, oak, whatever. So all of the stuff that I am comfortable with is in my boat. It's sitting there with me. They're my friends. I like them. I'm comfortable with them. The stuff that I'm not comfortable with is in the ocean, swimming around, okay? So imagine that I am comfortable with being accepted, and I am not comfortable with being rejected, okay? And so I want to bring those two things together because if they're one-sided, I'm going to be basically impotent. I'll be at effect. Everybody around me can make me feel a certain way because I'm one-sided. They can push me off balance because I'm one-sided. The more balanced I am, the less able anybody is to push me off balance. Okay, so all this stuff in my boat I'm comfortable with. Down below, swimming around, maybe it looks like an alligator or some ugly fish with gnarly teeth. And that is rejection. I don't admire you, I don't think you're wonderful, And so that stuff is down there. It's not in my boat. Now, from a Jungian perspective, and I'll try not to keep saying that, but that's the perspective I'm taking on this, on all of this, obviously. From a Jungian perspective, when the opposites come together, that's when we have healing. And when they come together, I'm not this or that, but they actually come together and they create something new, a new life, a new level of consciousness. And so I'm comfortable, I want to be accepted. I don't want to be rejected. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to bring those together. And so I can say, I want to be accepted and I want to be rejected. Now I think it's nice to be a little more concrete. So I'm kind of mixing concrete and symbolic. I want my wife to pay more attention to Facebook than me. Okay? I want my wife to admire other people more than she admires me. Oof, that hurts. I'm sure she does. But it still hurts, right? Who am I? Anyhow, so when I say something like, I want my wife to admire other people more than she does me, I feel that in my body. I feel it in my hands. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. So I am now getting closer to this opposite, which is not in my boat. Maybe it's starting to put its hands on the railing, right? And so I'm going to say it some more. I want my wife to admire other people more than she admires me. And that's okay. Okay? And I'm going to keep saying that until essentially my own attitude, which has been in my embodied attitude, which is to reject rejection, now I'm going to accept it. Now, I'm not going on to the other side. I'm not just saying, oh, now she rejects me. No, I'm bringing in, she doesn't admire me, or she admires other people more than me, with, I want her to admire me the most. I'm bringing those two together. Okay? And I'm bringing them into my identity, into my boat. And as those two spend time in the boat, they kind of transfer something to each other. They change each other. And something new can happen, which is balance. Which is really where we're always headed for. We're always headed for balance. And balance is the integration of opposites. Okay, just to summarize, we have is, I want to be accepted, I don't want to be rejected. Two sides. So I'm one-sided. I'm going to now say I want to be my wife to admire other people more than me, and I want my wife to admire me. So I want both. And I'm going to work with that until I accept it in my body. And as I work with that, my body goes through this kind of, first it rejects it and it tightens up, and I can feel it, but I'm going to breathe. I'm going to relax into those notions because I'm re-imaging my identity. And that re-imaged identity is actually bigger and wider and more stable and balanced. And with all of that said, it's less afraid. It's more able to live. Okay? So we'll revisit this topic of acceptance and rejection more as the next few days. Signing off.